Some cryptid experts believe there's a large amount of animals out in the world that are unaccounted for. This is true. Interestingly enough, in a recent study, scientists said there's around 5 million species waiting to be discovered. This has caused many people to come forward over the years and state that they've seen unknown creatures. Although their accounts are sometimes mocked, some of these stories have created more questions than they've answered. So today we'll be taking a look at 4 mysterious creatures and their backstories. The mysterious creature spotted in the Thames. Perhaps the most famous serpent is that of the Loch Ness monster. This creature is said to live in Loch Ness, and every year people come forward with their alleged sightings. The creature is said to have a long neck with a large body and a hump, and it soon gained the nickname of Nessie. The first story about this monster was widely published in 1934. The creature was never caught or identified. The only thing that's come to the surface over the years is a few interesting photographs. Interestingly, although the Loch Ness monster is known to live in Scotland, a few similar looking creatures have been seen all over the world. Going back in 2016, there was a report and a video by an unidentified individual that showed a creature eerily similar to the Loch Ness monster, and this was captured in the River Thames. The video that soon made the rounds on social media and various websites showed a massive creature just on top of the river, but not enough of the creature was in view to give a positive ID. This caused many that saw the creature to suggest there was a new species living in the Thames, and that whatever the Loch Ness monster is, there's more than one of them out there inhabiting various lakes and rivers across the UK. There were several assumptions of what the large creature could be. Some people suggested it was a submarine, but those assumptions were quickly debunked as a submarine wouldn't have been able to fit in that part of the Thames. Others put forward the idea of the creature being a whale. This was going by the fact that a whale has been seen around the city before. Then the assumptions of the creature being the Loch Ness monster surfaced. Many believed the size of the creature to be similar to that of the Loch Ness monster, and suggested they could have been from the same lineage. The creature didn't show itself for long before it disappeared with its shadow in the Thames. As of today, what the creature was and what it was doing in the Thames remains a mystery. The Gloucester Sea Serpent. For a 2 to 3 year period between 1817 and 1819, a weird reptile became the discussion between people and scientists. The sighting of the creature was first reported by a sailor who was cruising a vessel into Gloucester Harbour, a city in Essex County, Massachusetts in August 1817. According to the captain, he said that during the course of his vessel drifting, something caught his attention when he looked across the ocean. Something large and serpent-like could be seen bouncing in the water. After paying attention to the creature, the captain was able to guess the creature's length, and said it was around 60 feet, and that it had a very large distinctive hump. It was dark, glossy and rugged. It squirmed like a caterpillar and its head was likened to a monster and a snake. It had jet black eyes and was said to have even worried the captain as he had never seen anything like it before. After observing the creature for several minutes, it's said the captain then quickly made his way out of there, not wanting to overstay his welcome. He discussed what he'd seen with his colleagues and superiors when he got back into town, but rather than believing him, they laughed at him and joked about the matter. With the way he explained the situation, people must have thought he was exaggerating, and that instead of seeing a monster, he must have seen some normal ocean creature. The claim would then arise once again once others came forward with their stories. It turned out that within a short period of time, several people had witnessed this mysterious serpent-like creature. According to one of the sailors, he said the serpent's head was so big that it couldn't have been any local wildlife. There was another first-hand experience from a reporter who testified the large size of the serpent's head, and went on to say there was no ears or horns. The sailor that first saw the sea serpent was believed to have not seen the serpent properly, and that maybe he'd actually got the size of the creature wrong. It was then reported the serpent could have been between 80 to 90 feet long. Most of the descriptions of the serpent had one thing in common, and that was the size of the creature's head. Other descriptions came in and suggested it looked very similar to that of a snake's head. When some people tried to stand out from the crowd and claim the creature might be a fish, Seawall Topin Abote said that he'd been to the ocean for years and never observed any fish that had similarities to this creature. The sighting of the serpent also came as a surprise because of the location the serpent was found. Gloucester has a long history of ocean bee sightings, but nothing came close to this serpent. Individuals in that part of the world were dumbfounded, having acquired the most seasoned angling port in America, and having seen all fish and snake species. The serpent was never caught and its fate was never known. A snake was found by the residents with a body-like structure to the serpent, but it was only 4 feet long. Others then suggested this snake may have been the offspring of this creature, but that likely isn't the case. As with most sea monster sightings, this one remains unsolved. Lake Ontario serpents. Lake Ontario that's located in Canada is said to be another place that's home to a sea serpent. The Lake Ontario serpent was another creature that was witnessed by several people, and apart from narratives from those who had first-hand experience with the lake monster, a lot of stories have been written and shared about the serpent, ranging from children's storybooks, articles, fictional books and comedy plays. Once again, those who saw the creature described it as having a long serpent-like body and the head of a snake. There are several people who believe the Lake Ontario serpent isn't just one creature, but rather two. People came up with different names for the serpent, one being Metrosaurus. One of the reasons that people believe the serpent is more than one creature is because the serpent was sighted on more than one occasion in different lakes. The Lake Ontario is connected to different lakes, which some have theorized is more than enough room for two serpents to live in. In 1817, a black shining creature that measured up to 30 or 40 feet in length was sighted from staff from a ship. The sightings continued for several years, and each person that saw the creature described it as looking like a large black snake. The serpent is believed to be unique from other sighted serpents, as some have reported fire coming from its mouth, and that this is why some people call it the meteor dragon, as some stories claim it coming from space. The Lake Norman Monster. The Lake Norman Monster has been described as being an extremely long creature, and is said to look like a snake with flippers. The animal has been sighted on more than one occasion by different people, ranging from campers, swimmers, scuba divers, fishermen and tourists. There is one common description about this creature from people, but researchers were convinced enough that all the people giving an account of the monster were describing the same thing. It seems that locals are under the impression that something large and unidentified resides in the lake. The monster was nicknamed Normie, and is believed not to be a friendly creature. Its presence inside Lake Norman has made some people abandon the idea of swimming in the man-made lake. A diver once gave an account of what happened when Norman attacked him. The diver said that he saw an animal with a dog-like head and red eyes, and that it came from below him and bit onto one of his flippers. Luckily for the diver, he managed to escape the creature's grasp. Another first-hand experience comes from someone who was on the lake with a jet ski. He said he saw a beast stand before him on the water's surface and attack him, but he was able to escape with minimal bruising. Another swimmer described their encounter with the creature, and said it was unlike anything they'd seen before. They said that they were travelling the world and had swam in many of the world's lakes and oceans. Doing this got them up close and personal with many of the world's creatures. However, on this occasion they'd encountered a creature they'd never seen before. They described the creature as being over 30 feet in length, having black shiny skin and possessing 2 large black eyes. The person would go on to say they'd only seen the creature for around 15 seconds, but during this brief encounter they were able to get a good look at it. After hearing about the local stories of a sea monster living in the lake, they came to the conclusion that the creature they encountered that day may have been the same creature in the stories. So what do you make of these mysterious creature encounters? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.